Coach Antonio Pierce is laying down the gauntlet for the players with the Las Vegas Raiders.
But I said one thing we can't do is we can't start over on the 23rd and 24th. We're not going backwards. So it is on you to come in here in physical shape. It's on you to be ready mentally and emotionally, but more importantly, understanding the playbook. Because we're going forward with whoever can understand the playbook. It's not about, draft picks, it's not about money, it's not about status. We're going with the guys that put in the time and commitment to do what we want to do over the next 6 months. And that's just do one thing and one thing only, win. And I want winners. Winners never stop working. You can decompress, but I didn't say you stop working. So we got to find a way of that. And I just told them when they come back, kick in the front door and let's get this bad boy rolling.
I got to tell you, I'm excited about the leadership that Antonio Pierce is bringing to the Raiders. And Maxx Crosby declares he wants to be a Raider for life. All that and more on today's episode of the Raider D Podcast. All right, Raiders and Raiderettes, man, it is exciting times right now with the Raiders. Let's just talk about Coach Antonio Pierce and what he brings to the table with his first offseason as the official head coach. And I got to tell you, man, the energy and the expectations of excellence that he has brought to the table and the command of respect that he has with our players is next level. It is something that we have not had pretty much since John Gruden. I mean, yes, Rich Bisaccia had that locker room, but he didn't get a full year with the team to really institute his way of doing things. But I'm telling you right now, I think that a lot of players had a lot of respect for John Gruden, but because we just weren't winning, I think that goodwill that the players had for John Gruden kind of didn't pan out the way that it should have because we just, again, didn't win games. And every coach is like that. Let's be 100% honest here. If Antonio Pierce is not able to get the job done, then he is going to have the same problem in a couple of years. He may not have his job. But at this moment, right now, when Antonio Pierce speaks, these players listen. And he put together a fantastic core of coaches under him who really have this team fired up. Now, granted, we've only gone through OTAs and minicamp at this point. We are on summer break right now. The guys have time to go out there and spend time with their family, enjoy their money, do all of the things that rich football players can do that, us average folks really can't. But he made it very clear to the team that when you come back to camp, you better be ready. You better have the playbook down and you better be in shape and ready to go because we're not starting over again. It's where we left off at minicamp. You better be on the same level at the very minimum if you want to keep your position in this team. And I love what he says about it doesn't matter what round you were drafted in, how much money you make, none of that matters. The only thing that matters to the Raiders in this administration is who has the playbook and is in shape and ready to go. Who's going to give us the best chance of winning? Even Davante Adams, even Maxx Crosby could easily lose their job if they came back completely unprepared and out of shape. Now, we know that's not going to happen because those two dudes are absolute champion-minded players. But for the rest of the team, they really got to be looking over their shoulder because if they don't bring 100% to the table when we come back to camp, they could find themselves on the second string, third string. And these rookies, these other guys, they could absolutely jump up and take their position. So I love the atmosphere that the coach has set, the expectations that he set. And because he is a proven winner and a champion, he's not just talking out of the side of his neck. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what it takes to win. I think this team is going to come back to camp and preseason and regular season fired up, ready to go. And we are going to be a dominant team this year. Now, let's talk about Maxx Crosby for a second, because in this interview, that we're going to show here in just a second, Maxx talks about how he wants to be a Raider for life, and I absolutely love this mentality. Maxx Crosby has the silver and black running through his veins. It's absolutely exciting to see.
But I'm not going to stop until we get to where we go. I want everyone, not just the players, but the organization, everyone to feel the same way, because I'm trying to win, bro. Like that's all that matters at the end of the day. And if you win, all the other comes with it. So everyone knows on the planet, I want to be a Raider. I got it tatted on me.
Yeah, you got
I never want to leave. I'm locked in for another 3 years at least.
If you really think about it, look, last year we had one of the most underpaid defenses in the NFL. And yet, towards the end of the season, we were averaging only giving up 16 points a game. That's best in the NFL. That ranks us number 1 in points allowed. It doesn't matter how many yards you give up, passing or rushing. Doesn't matter how many passing attempts you give or catches made that you give up. It doesn't matter how many sacks you get or don't get. What matters is, in the NFL, points. What makes a defense dominant is points allowed. And the Raiders last year, with one of the most underpaid defenses, were able to be number 1 towards the second half of the season, not the whole season, but number 1 in points allowed. And that is exciting. If we can do that this year and continue that pace, just with the guys that came back on the defense and Patrick Graham, yet another year of implementing his defense into this team, with the addition of a guy like Christian Wilkins and other guys taking that next leap in their career, like Malcolm Kuntz did at the second half of the season last year. Now he's going to get a chance to really shine at the beginning of the season this year. Tyree Wilson taking that next step. Guys coming back like Adam Butler and John Jenkins, who already proved last year that they were very valuable players on that defensive line. If they can take another step in their career, our defensive line is going to be phenomenal. And then guys like Jack Jones, who's practicing with the wide receiver crew. Now, this has a lot of reminiscence of a guy like Deion Sanders. Granted, Jack Jones is not Deion Sanders. He is not anywhere near as fast as Deion Sanders. He's very fast, but he's not Deion Sanders fast. And Deion Sanders was an absolute beast. He was something special, hard to replicate. But Jack Jones has the opportunity to etch his name in history, Raider history, and NFL history himself, because he's proven that he is a ball hawk. So it makes sense that they're letting him practice with the wide receiver crew, because when it comes to our secondary, the guy that we want to really shine when it comes to catching the ball is Jack Jones. He's already got the ball hawk instincts. He played wide receiver in high school. He played even a little bit of it in college, but mostly he played corner in college, and he was really good at it. Now he's really good at it in the NFL, so we want to see him take another step. And if he can do that, then that's going to help. And because we have such a dominant defensive line putting pressure on quarterbacks, speaking of Maxx Crosby, who is the all-time leader since 2001 in pressures on quarterbacks, these guys are going to make mistakes, and they're going to throw the ball, errant balls, floater balls, and Jack Jones is just going to have a feast. But Robert Spillane, who is a great-handed linebacker, is also going to be able to feast. And then the rest of our guys, Trayvon Merring is really taking that next step. And if he takes another step in his career, watch out. We're going to have a really good safety at that position. Marcus Epps is already a wily safety out there. And then we got some fantastic dudes that we picked up in the draft, like Trey Taylor, who really we got as a steal in the 7th round. He easily could have been a 2nd, 3rd, or a 4th round draft pick. It's kind of hard to determine where he was at because he played at Air Force, but the dude won so many awards in college and was awarded for the best defensive back in all of college. We got him in the 7th round. This dude is going to be an absolute stud. He is a hard worker. He's a physical phenom. and he's incredibly intelligent. So looking forward to see him get some snaps out there and get an opportunity to really shine. Now, it's going to be hard for him to get too much at this point in his career because it's going to be Trayvon Merring and Marcus Epps. They're going to be the two main safeties out there. But we really got to take a look at Jacorian Bennett over at the other side of corner. Now, we know Nate Hobbs is probably one of the best nickel corners in the NFL, particularly playing in that slot corner position. So that means that we got to have Jacorian Bennett really excel. Now, we also got Richardson and Devonshire, who we picked up in the draft, as well as got some guys that, we got in the free agency, the undrafted free agency. Man, it is looking really, really nice. Eichenberg is just a natural, gifted linebacker that we picked up in the draft. He's going to be a good addition to the Raiders. And if, Divine can really stay healthy, he's also another proven asset. And Palamaua is also very good. So we got a great team, especially on defense. We have a lot of depth there. So if players do go down, we do have plug-and-play players that can come in and we can keep that momentum. And that's what's going to make the Raiders such a dominant team. And again, it goes back to this guy right here, Maxx Crosby. These shirts are on sale right now. Go and get them. Black Rain Official. Get your posters as well while you're there. And man, I'm excited about this season. Let me know down in the comments. Do you think the Raiders are going to have the number one defense in the NFL? And do you think Coach Antonio Pierce is going to win Coach of the Year? Drop a comment. Let me know. Make sure you like this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.